How about a little bit of a van update here? I don't think I conveyed as well as I could have in this video about how this isn't just a van thing. This could be an anybody thing, an anywhere thing, and you'll kind of see what I mean throughout the video. But I just love the idea of these like modular little things that you can put around over all different places, and you can store it here. Oh, you clip it on here and then move it to the car, move it to the van, move it inside to the shop. So I don't think I did the best job of doing that. Maybe eventually, if I get more of these little things, I'll put some in the shed and then you can see, oh, okay, he stores it on the wall over there and then he brings it in the van when he goes on a trip. So that's one thing I feel like I missed, but really cool. I really think this is like a great solution for the van. I've driven the van around. It doesn't rattle now. Very nice. That old toolbox had to go. In with the new hotness, out with the old. Thank you for your support here on Patreon, making things happen. I'm rolling. Winter is always a little bit more slow, but I've got some ideas. I got some little stuff happening, and eventually, in a month or so, we'll start hitting the ground hard and going fast once again. But for now, all kinds of fun stuff. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go. My friends, after rattling around in the back of my van for about 50,000 miles, my fine toolbox here has met its end of life. It was never designed for this. It has become quite the rattle trap. These drawers just open willy-nilly. I've had to tape them shut to keep stuff from flopping out and jumping out of its little stuff here. As you can see, my wrench doesn't stay in its foam spot. So I'm gonna fix this problem, and I'm gonna do it in a way where it's not related to the van. It doesn't matter if you have a van or if you have a car or if you have a shop at home or you just have a closet where you keep your tools. But before I do that, I've got some decisions to make. What tools have I actually been using, and which tools are just taking up space in here that I can just get rid of? They don't need to be carried with me all the time. Okay, I'm pretty surprised that this was all there was. I felt like I had all kinds of crap inside the toolbox, and at the risk of sounding like a pack rat, this is not that bad. I can definitely get rid of a few things. There's a couple things that I never used and a couple things that have just accumulated that I need to get rid of. I am very, very excited about this. This is good. And yes, I do have 3 extra chains and 4 extra sets of brake pads. You never know when you're gonna need them. I think the saddest thing about sending off the toolbox is trying to replace these stickers. I'll be able to replace most of these, but this Wolverine sticker, I saved this thing for 25 years before I ever stuck it on anything. Oh, I didn't even know I was missing it. Clean it up a little bit to get my blank slate. And in case you can't figure out exactly what this is, it's a bike work stand. So after a decent amount of research, several trips to the hardware store, and endless agonizing about the price, I went with the Milwaukee Pack-Out system. Yes, it's expensive. I get it, I got it, I worried about it, I'm over it, I'm going for it. These things have a crazy cult following online. If you look at the reviews, it's like 4.98 stars over 5,000 reviews. People really go crazy for these things. So they're basically just plastic bins that lock together. So right now, all 3 are locked in tight. You pop one off just like that. You can pop another one off just like that. And then you got the big boy at the bottom. They've just got these interlocking feet that snap onto the top of anything. I could put the small one on the bottom. I could put the big one on the top. It may seem like some overpriced plastic, but when you look at the competition and the other options available, there's nothing quite right. There's nothing quite as good as this. So here's the plan. I bolt the mounting plate to the carpet here, fill the toolboxes back up with tools, snap them down. Oh, my measurements. Oh no. I only measured this. I didn't measure the height of this thing. All right, let's see here. I may have made a terrible mistake. I kept the receipt. Okay, snapped on. Oh, what the heck? It's not touching. Did I really get that lucky? I'm not taking these tags off, I'll tell you that much, until I'm really convinced that I'm keeping it. One thing I found during my research is that there's a few people selling lower profile cleat systems like this that you can bolt on to places. And now that I look at it, how much smaller can you really get? Obviously the whole footprint is big,
but look at that. It's like this big. So if I buy a different one online and get it and it ends up being too tall, so I might have to stick with this one. The other thing I found in my research is that Milwaukee is going to do one of these that has drawers in it, more of a drawer toolbox. That would fit this situation much better, but no regrets. I'm gonna get this done now. Maybe I'll switch to that later. I just know I'm gonna use these forever. I can take them in, I can take them out, I can put them in the garage, I can put them in the shop. They will get used. Even with everything stacked on top, you can still get access to each individual drawer here, which I think is actually pretty cool. Not as limiting as you would think for something stacked up. So here's my existing Kaizen foam inserts and how they look. We're not gonna get that lucky to be able to pull this off. So I'm gonna have to start from scratch, but I have a lot of extra Kaizen foam laying around. Let the sorting begin. I've got the keeper pile here. I've got the stay home pile here. These screwdrivers are way too big. I got like 20 different valves. Then I've got these Shimano brake pads are actually the wrong type now. These are older type. So now I've got the basic layout of the tools that I want to keep, but I don't use very often. These ones will go on the bottom. And I'm using Fast Cap Kaizen foam for this, Fast Cap blade. They sent me a bunch of stuff when I made my first video doing the Kaizen foam in the van, so it's cool. Got a couple fans over there at Fast Cap. And now I'm tracing the tools with a long-necked marker. Nice and easy. Oh, I'm not right-handed. Traced it out with the knife, and now you start picking and pulling. So after a couple of not so good tracings, I realized that I didn't even use the marker eventually. I just started tracing with the knife, and I just did this one tracing with the knife, and it's so much better fit instead of whatever this is. Okay, that really doesn't take too long. It's kind of soothing. It's not perfect, but hopefully it'll go in there. I put some little 3-inch risers foam on there just to see if it'll hold it. I used a little paracord here to put a little handle on both sides so you can take it out and put it in easy. All right, I have been foaming away. I got 2 tiers here and this little extra piece. So for my application, nothing can be rattling around. Nothing can be rubbing against each other because I'm gonna have, another 50,000 miles on the van. And if everything's rubbing against each other, it's just gonna rattle, it's gonna wear out, metal shavings are gonna be everywhere. So pieces like this in your normal toolbox, you would just throw everything in the toolbox and it's fine. But when you're putting on so many miles, I just really wanna be careful and get everything foamed and separated and not rattling. The big boy's doing pretty good. Now I'm working on this top one, and this is the slimmer one of these two. And you know what? I don't think I'm gonna need this one, for the tools at least. I think I'll be able to put that thing to use otherwise, but for the main van tools, just these two is actually good to go. So these things are not going in the toolbox. So they get the honor of being Velcroed to my tray for quick and easy access. They don't even move around or flop around because I've got the little double-sided Velcro on the back. These are so awesome because even when I'm working in the garage sometimes, I'll go to the back of the van instead of running in the backyard for the shed. And if you don't have a pair of these little Nipex electronics cutter thingies, you are completely missing out. They are so useful. They cut zip ties perfectly flush. They cut zip ties. They cut packaging open. There's like a million uses for these. I have one in the van. I've got one in the shed. I've got one in the house in the junk drawer. They're so useful. Now let's get this plate mounted up to the tray here. And luckily, there's a bunch of different mounting holes because if I was going to try to mount it through here, there's hardware, the drawer slides get in the way. So I'm going to use this one, this one, this one, and this one. All right, here we go. Whoa! Yeah! Okay, I will be able to put this thing to use. I've got all kinds of extra GoPro stuff, backup stuff, electronic stuff that I need to carry with me in case stuff happens. So I'm gonna get all this into here, Some of this is gonna go away, but there's always these little extra things that I need. I'm very happy with this now that everything's come together. Some zip ties, some easy access stuff in the top, valve stems, yada, yada, yada. I don't think I'm gonna go over every single little piece of equipment here. Random miscellaneous GoPro stuff and computer stuff. Lots more room for that stuff. Lots of spare extra parts in the bottom of the big toolbox. I got the spare derailleur hanger, jockey wheel, brake rotor, chains, random extra stuff. Next level up, kind of bigger tools that I don't use that often. Cassette, get the cassette off, put some torque on the old bad boy. Next level up, tools that you use quite a bit more often. Then this random piece on top, and then a couple other little pieces floating around for good measure. So this would be a lot to take from position to position if I wanted to keep it all in the shed and then move it to the car and then put it back in the van. But I really think that for the normal person, they could probably get away with just a couple of these, and then it would be really easy to leave in the garage for your mountain bike tools, put in the car when you go on a mountain bike trip, and then you know you have everything you need instead of being like, oh, what tools do I have? What did I bring? I think I'll be able to solve quite a few bike problems. The bike problems I know how to solve with this setup. Of course, I will be taking it to the bike shop if it's above my pay grade, and there's quite a few things that are still above my pay grade. I'm really happy with how all this came out. I think it's gonna last a long, long time, whether it's in the van or out of the van somewhere else 25 years down the line. I just feel like this is gonna last. Maybe it's because I paid so much. I really hope it's gonna last. It's the honeymoon phase right now, so I'll let you guys know if I end up hating it and, and I replace everything. But until then, go ride something new, and maybe I'll see you on the trail.